Let's do synthetic division. So my goal today is to show you when it's appropriate and when it's inappropriate to use synthetic division. Okay? So I'm going to do it once, and then I'm going to erase it, and I'm going to do it again. So just you don't even need to write anything down now. Just take it in, okay? Because I'm going to do it twice, and then I'm going to let you write it down. All right, so my first step is to write my coefficients. So my coefficients of this polynomial right here are 2, 3, -4, and 15, correct? I'm going to divide by x plus 3. My next step says to set up my divisor as x minus r, which looks an awful lot like the absolute value so x minus, it's been a long day, yeah. X minus r, is this form in x minus r? See what I'm saying? Just like when we were trying to put things in vertex form, it has to be in the x minus h plus k form, so it always has that negative. This is the same idea. It needs to have a negative sign. So if this is a positive 3, it's really x minus minus 3. Okay, everybody okay with that? So I'm going to be pulling out a factor of -3. Okay, so now I'm going to draw a T with room for work and a remainder. So here's my T. This is where my remainder is going to go. I've got 3 terms here. See how I have an x cubed and I'm going to be dividing by an x? When you have an x cubed and you divide by an x, you get x squared, right? So my answer is going to be x squared, then an x, then a constant, then a remainder. Alrighty, so this is the way this works. I bring down the first term, which is 2. Then I start multiplying diagonally. So -3 times 2 is -6. -6 and 3 makes -3. -3 times -3 is +9. 9 minus 4 is 5. -3 times 5 is -15, which is 0. This also makes sense, this whole -3 idea, because every time I do long division, I draw the line and change the sign, right? Well, I just changed the sign before I started the whole entire thing. Okay, so my answer to this one would be 2x squared minus 3x plus 5. So go ahead and write that down, and then I'm going to redo it again. Okay, so let's talk about the positives and the negatives of this form. What's the positives of this form? It's quick. It's nice and quick, right? What's the negatives of this form? You can't see any mistakes, right? Like when I'm doing my long division, when I did that on our opening activity here, I can see that I have an x cubed here. If I don't get 0 right here, I did something wrong, right? As I'm going along, I can say, okay, good, x cubed is nice and cozy above the other x cubed. This x squared is nice and cozy above that one, right? You can see them in their right places. You can see that I'm constantly coming up with 0 here, constantly coming up with 0. And if you don't come up with 0, I just go back and go, wait, I made a mistake. Where did I make my mistake at? You can't do that in this method here. You can't see any of that. Okay? It doesn't mean that it's not a good choice. If you know what you're doing, you can do it pretty efficiently with this method. I just personally prefer the other. Okay, and I'll show you why. Oh, I was going to show you that we can do this. Let's do it over again. Now that everybody's seen it, since it's nice and quick, right? So here are my coefficients. I'm going to bring down a 2, a 3, a -4, and a 15. If I solve, it's a good way of putting it, if I solve for x plus 3, I get -3. Draw my line with a T, remembering that this is my remainder. 2 just comes straight down, and I start multiplying. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. And negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. So my answer is 2x squared minus 3x plus 5. Question? That's the first method. That's what I just did. I just did it over again. Right? I showed it to you, we explained it, you wrote it down, and I just showed it to you one more time. All right. How do I get the numbers what, Ryan? I'm multiplying in this box right here, I'm multiplying negative 3 times this bottom number. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Then I add these two together and get negative 3. Then negative 3 times negative 3 is positive 9. And then I add those two together and I get 5. And negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. And I add them together and get 0. You guys want to? Then it's still a remainder. Let's do this one. You try this one on your own. All right, so my first step is to write my coefficients. I have a 3, a negative 8, an 11, and a negative 14. This is already in x minus r form. So 2 is the number that goes in that little box right there. I bring down my 3. 2 times 3 is 6. I have negative 2 left over. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. I have 7 left over. And 2 times 7 is 14. I have 0 left over. 3x squared minus 2x plus 7 is my answer. Because, see how, if I were to solve for this, Jesus brought up a good point. Doesn't x equal positive 2?
Yeah.
Got it? Ryan?
So, when you do like your 3x squared and stuff, how do you find the exponent value of x? Is it always going to be 1 less than the double?
As long as you're only dividing by x.
Okay.
If you were dividing by x squared, wouldn't you get x?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
No. You ready?
Yeah.
Looks pretty inviting, huh?
I like this more than yesterday.
Okay. Tell me that after the next one, okay? Okay, pencils down. Is this in the right form? Okay, so just like Jesus said, I really like this. I'm borrowing it. It's now mine. So subtract 1 from both sides, and I get 3x equals negative 1. Divide by 3, divide by 3. X equals negative 1/3. Oh, I'm not done. So that's what goes in this little box right here. Negative 1/3. Oh, but just wait. You also need to divide everybody by 3. Exactly. Right? Okay, don't knock it yet. It does have its advantages. You just have to be really careful until you get to the very end. Okay, so what are my coefficients? Leading coefficients. 1, negative 5/3, 1/3, and 7/3. Oh, we're missing something. 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Okay? Draw my line with my T. Are we ready? So I'm going to bring down, let's change it to black. All right, I'm going to bring down the 1. Negative 1/3 times 1 is negative 1/3, which makes negative 6/3, which is just negative 2. Negative 1/3 times negative 2 is positive 2/3, which is 3/3, which is 1. Negative 1/3 times 1. Did I tell you didn't have to do it this way?
Oh, well,
Okay.
no, you knew.
All right. So negative 1/3 times 1 is negative 1/3. 7 minus 1 is 6/3, which is 2. Negative 1/3 times 2 is negative 2/3, which is negative 2/3 as a remainder. Correct?
Yeah.
But my remainder is all over
That's 3x plus 1.
because I pulled out a 3 out of everybody, right? Which means negative 2/3 divided by x plus 1/3. This is where I don't like this method anymore. Negative 2/3 divided by, and I'm giving it a common denominator, which is negative 2/3 divided by 3x plus 1 divided by 3, which is negative 2/3 times 3 over 3x plus 1. These cancel, and my remainder is, so let's write it out, x squared minus 2, not x squared, what should it be? Cubed? X cubed minus 2x squared plus x plus 2 minus 2 over 3x plus 1. Or you could use it with long division and get the same answer.
I like long division.
The synthetic division works great if you don't have a coefficient greater than 1. Synthetic division's great, right? So, if the coefficient is greater than 1, I would use long division. Do you guys want to see this, or would you rather me just do it out with long division? Okay. Sure. Recording. Okay, so let's do this the long division way. It's nice and comfortable and cozy and fun, and where I know that everybody goes in its place. I just like to see it. Okay, 3x times what makes 3x to the 4th? X cubed, and we know where that goes. No questions there, right? It goes right above that, x cubed. X cubed times 1 is x cubed. X cubed times 3x is 3x to the 4th. Draw my line, change the sign. Did I clear it? I did. Now we get to go to the next one. Negative 6x cubed plus x squared. 3x goes into negative 6x cubed how many times? 2x squared. And I know that because it's got to be squared because it's over that squared.
Yeah. It must be negative because
It should be negative. And we know that because we can see it, right? So negative 2x squared times 1 is negative 2x squared, and negative 2x squared times 3x is negative 6x cubed. Draw the line, change the sign. Did I do something wrong?
no, I got this.
Are we good?
Yeah.
So this clears itself out, and I'm left with 3x squared. Bring down the 7x. 3x times what makes 3x squared? X. X times 1 is x, and x times 3x is 3x squared. Draw the line, change the sign. 7x minus x is 6x plus 0. 3x times what makes 6x? 2 times 1 is 2, and 2 times 3x is 6x. And, you know, there's no doubt that this way is longer. But I can see all of it. And the most important is, I don't have to mess with the remainder. The remainder is just negative 2 over 3x plus 1.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, I like that one.
So my answer is x cubed minus 2x squared plus x plus 2. And you can either write plus negative 2 over 3x plus 1 or just minus 2 over 3x plus 1. Same thing, right? There's your answer. You guys want to write that one down? Okay, so I think we all agree that it would be easier to use long division, especially since I've got 1 0 there and another 0 here. Place markers, right? Do you see the missing ones? We have 5, 4. Ooh, I put that in the wrong spot. 5, 4. Do I have a 3? No, so I need to make a 3. I did this all wrong. I have a 2, but I don't have a 1. Whoa. So I need a 0x there also. This one's going to be kind of hectic, right? So I have 8y to the 5th minus 2y to the 4th plus 0x cubed minus 16y squared plus 0x plus 4. Everybody understand our place markers in there? It's like the ones place, tens place, hundreds place, thousands place, 10,000 place.
Yeah. Why?
It's just like doing this.
Oh, you need markers to just move stuff out.
There's markers there, right? I wouldn't write that number like that, right? You see what I'm saying? It should be y. Okay, so this is the third time I've done this today, and every single time I've done it all x's, and then this time I did it x's and y's. Not good. Thank you, Brian. They should be y's. Yes, Ryan.
This is a hard problem.
What?
A hard problem. Okay. Ready? So 4y times what makes 8y to the 5th?
2y 4.
2y to the 4th. 2y to the 4th times negative 1 is negative 2y to the 4th, 8y to the 5th. Draw the line and change the sign.
But you don't get any carryover.
0y to the 4th is what we get, and we have to bring down 0y cubed. Right? So now I have a 0y cubed there. And when I multiply that, I'm still going to get 0 y's, right? That's why the place markers are important. Correct? Draw a line, change the sign. Now I still have a 0y cubed minus 16y squared, but I'm still looking at 4y going into 0y cubed. How many times do I have to multiply to get 0y cubed? No. 0. Right? I never said it was going to be easy. So 0y squared, you aren't going to have, like, all of your homework is not going to look like this. Okay? This is a hard one. So 0y squared times negative 1 is 0y squared, and 0 should be cubed. Draw the line, change the sign. So now I'm left with negative 16y squared plus 0y. 4y times what? As long as you're just, it's not hard, it's just I mean, you'll be able to catch it if you make a mistake, right? It won't cancel out. So 4y times what makes negative 16y squared? Negative 4y. We're finally back to using regular numbers. So 4y, negative 4y times negative 1 is positive 4y, and negative 4y times 4y is negative 16y squared. Draw the line, change the sign, which gives me a negative 4y plus 4. 4y times what makes negative 4y? Negative 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. Negative 1 times 4y is negative 4y. Draw the line, change the sign. 4 minus 1 is 3. My remainder is 3. But I can go back up here, and I don't have that much here. I have 2y to the 4th minus 4y minus 1 plus 3 over 4y minus 1.
So you don't have to put the zeros in?
Nope, you don't need them. They're just place markers while you're dividing. This is all you need. Questions? Good. I hope so. You didn't throw stuff at me. Good job. All right, guys. Happy studying.